meals. They were probably eating other food that they had gotten from other people in there, and along with their bread. So, who knows? I mean, everybody pinpointed the baker, but it might not have been him at all. He might have had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
The only
not.
thing I guess he would run into is in the 1950s, feeding 100 or 300 people.
Okay, but think about it. If somebody goes out and they pick boatloads of mushrooms and they sell them all in a day at the market.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay?
Yeah, and you mix some bad ones in there.
And
Oopsie.
the bad ones are mixed in, or as some people call them, the good ones are mixed in there.
Yeah.
And
Point of view,
then
yeah.
they're randomly put into dishes for this celebration. It doesn't even have to be for the observation of the Assumption of Mary. I just happen to find that correlated with the date. But it could be that somebody just went out and found this batch of, I found the mother load of mushrooms. It's awesome. Everybody takes them and eats them, and woo, the party is started.
I guess it doesn't even have to be magic. I mean, it could just be poisonous mushrooms.
Yeah, poisonous mushrooms of
Doesn't have
some
to
kind.
be-
It's something, as long as it's got the capability of initiating
Fake chanterelles are a
hallucinations.
thing. I mean, there's all these mushrooms that look... Because I think magic mushrooms, the way they grow, it's pretty distinct.
Yeah.
It would have to be pretty negligent to think, oh, yeah, those are the good ones. Or, those are the bad ones.
Or inexperienced.
Or whatever. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, locally speaking, there's a little brand that grows around here that you find in cow pastures surrounding the output from cows.
Yeah.
And I don't mean milk or butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And,
it's not, but it's really easy to go into the forest and find a bunch of mushrooms and think, oh yeah, those look like the mushrooms that I get in the store, but hey, guess what? If it's white and it's in the forest, don't pick that.
Oh yeah, no,
That will
definitely.
kill you.
Yeah, mushrooms are. There's a lot of people out there who were out there and they suddenly they went to sleep and they woke up in the hospital with a new liver. And that's if you're lucky and there happens to be a liver available. Otherwise, well, TFS.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, don't eat those shrooms.
Yep.
So my point is...
It's a good theory.
There's a whole bunch of things that are naturally occurring that somebody could have picked up, sold at market.
But in general, we are agreeing that a fungus of some kind was ingested by 300-ish people and probably made them.
Yes,
so
not
either
LSD.
or
Not
I
LSD.
agree.
No,
I think
yeah.
that something, whether it was probably an accidental fungus poisoning.
I think so too. Yeah, the whole CIA theory, I think, is
Silly.
yeah, it's absurd. Yeah.
What's
Could
the
be the
term?
name of my next band, though.
It's bunk.
Accidental fungus poisoning.
It's good.
Yeah,
Actually, we
good
should
band
just rename the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, that would really pigeonhole us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really
Oh, for the
would be.
cooking show, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right,
When we have a cooking show,
Yeah.
that's what it's going to be called.
That-
Because
yeah,
that will
yeah.
draw the listeners in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, I think third degree burns. Is what I would choose.
Not bad.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think we've... Any other theories or
No.
thoughts?
No.
Solved.
I guess, yeah.
I'm tapped out.
Sort of kind of solved. Oh, man. Let me do a little housekeeping here. Website. You can find us on our website at thinkingsidewayspodcast.com. You can download episodes and... Well, unfortunately, we turned off comments a while back. Sorry about that. We're also on iTunes. If you subscribe, or if you do find us there, please do subscribe. And leave us a comment, a rating. That's great. Preferably good comments and ratings. We're also on, I don't know, I have no idea how many streaming services there
There's a
are
whole
there.
bucket load of them.
There's tons of them. Also Google Play. And I think on all those you can also subscribe and rate us and give us a review.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, and we're on Facebook. That we have a group and we have a page. So join the group. We're on the Twitter, and where we are Thinking Sideways. That's without the G. And our subreddit is called Thinking Sideways. And if you want to talk to us, send us a suggestion or just tell us how wonderful we are. You can send us an email at thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com. And last of all, if you want to support the show, you can support us through Patreon. That would be at patreon.com/thinkingsideways. And don't forget, that is an ongoing thing. If you pledge $10, well, that's $10 an episode. So just keep that in mind.
If you just want to, if you're in a situation where $10 is what you're wanting to give, and you want to do this one-time thing, that's where the PayPal comes in.
That
And there's a
PayPal,
link to that or a button for that on the website.
there is. And of course, we have merch also. So that's another way to contribute to the show. You can also get some awesome mugs and T-shirts and stuff out of it.
I've been working on some other new artwork recently, so hopefully
Yeah.
some of that will be going up soon.
Yeah. And so, actually, I was thinking about going out and getting a mug for myself. You guys want to go in an order?
No, that's okay. I've
save
got a
ourselves on
sticker
shipping.
I've got my eye on.
Yeah. Let's
all right.
talk about this later.
All right, you guys. Well, that's it for this week. We will be seeing you guys in another week. So, ta-ta.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thinking Sideways is not brought to you by a chipmunk with a grudge. Instead, it's brought to us by your amazing talents, because we're looking for a new intro for the podcast, and we have a contest going. The contest is going until the 31st of July, 2017, so go to our website, go to the contest page, and check out the rules and all the information, and get it into us soon, so get cracking.
Thinking Sideways.
I don't get it.
Uproot the aliens. You must unlearn what you have learned. I don't know.
Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Thinking Sideways, the podcast. I am Devin, joined this week by
Joe.
and
Steve.
we're recording like a week after CrimeCon right now.
Wow.
God, woohoo!
It was fun. It was really fun not to like rub in the noses of the people who weren't able to come, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
Crime God, woo!
We missed you guys, by the way.
did.
We're
We
thinking
missed
about
all
you.
of you.
Yeah, we were.
Every single one of you. So I apologize for the little raspy nature of my voice. It's been a long couple weeks. This week
We sound like we're on day 2 of CrimeCon.
Yeah, kind of. We do. Yeah, where everyone was just hungover and sad about being there.
I wasn't.
So today we are going to talk about a case called Princess Doe, and this
You
was
mean
suggested.
Princess Di?
No, Princess Doe.
Oh.
And this was a listener suggestion in July of 2014.
We've had it a while.
It was
3 years. Well.
Hunter.
Hey, Hunter,
suggested this,
thanks.
So thank you. It's not by any means a Mr. Cruel small ears warning, but we are
Yeah,
going to
still.
talk about murder and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I know.
small ears warning.
It's a medium-sized year warning.
Kids today, they're raised in a diet of murder and mayhem. This is nothing to them.
It's true. So Princess Doe is a 15 to 20-year-old Jane Doe discovered on the grounds of a graveyard in Blairstown, New Jersey on July 15th, 1982.
A while back.
Princess Doe, I think we'll probably just call her Princess from now on. but maybe
Easier.
Princess
A little
Doe, I don't
simpler.
know. Was found by a grave digger who was employed by the graveyard. Her face was quote-unquote bludgeoned beyond recognition, is the nicest way that I've seen that put.
Yeah, what my understanding is they couldn't identify the color of her eyes.
Yes,
That's
that's
pretty.
accurate.
Must have been one heck of a bludgeoning.
Pretty, yeah.
Well, see, I always wondered if that was because of the time that she spent there, and so there was a little bit of decomp, or if it was critters.
The investigators seem to believe it was due to the beating,
Okay.
not decomp or critters.
Okay.
Because
So the orbs were exploded.
yeah, because
Got
the
it.
rest of the body.
Yeah, I
parts
knew
that would have
her
been-
face was...
Yeah, but like the tongue and things like that would also be susceptible to critters were in fine condition.
Okay.
So
Good point.
yeah, welcome to Small Ears.
Still
Going
listening,
right
kids?
in. Yeah. Her body was found laying on its back with a red T-shirt on her body.
Kind of a V-neck. Sort
Kind
of
of like a
V-neck.
peasant-y blouse. Yeah, and there was a long red kind of peasant-y skirt, like a long flowy skirt that was laid over her legs or draped over her legs. She was wearing no underwear. She was wearing a gold cross necklace and earrings in her left ear only.
Pictures of which are available.
They are. Only her right hand had painted nails, which was in a matching red to the clothes that she was found in/under.
How often do women paint just one side and not the other?
It really depends on who it is.
It really depends. Sometimes it's not so much that you've just painted the one hand. Oftentimes, like nervous tics are to pull Like when I get really nervous, sometimes I'll pick at my nail polish, and you just kind of, oftentimes people just pick at the one hand. You're watching me do this right now, miming that, and so it's possible that she just picked all of it off of one hand and not the other. Especially if she was right-handed.
Well, there's also the fact that some people just can't take it when their nails get scraped up. And if you scrape, my wife is this way. She scrapes one nail and it's screwed up. She will then go ahead and just get out the nail polish remover and take it off, and either repaint the nail or just take the polish off entirely. Now, this girl might have been that, well, the one hand's fine, but the other looks goofy. So, I mean, there's a whole smattering of ways.
There's also a lot of conjecture online that says that this means that she must have been interrupted while painting her nails. But I don't think so, because her nail polish wasn't like smeared everywhere. It was dry on the one hand. So it's unclear why that was. It is a bit of an identifying mark.
It's possible she was interrupted in mid-painting, but not by violence right away. So the perpetrator, knocks on her door and says, "Hey, want to go to the graveyard and hang out?" And then so she, says okay and leaves with them, blowing on her nails a little bit. But it could have been something like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Favorite moment of the podcast so far? Watching Joe do the
blowing
of the nails motion.
Yeah, the shaking of the hand.
Yeah.
This isn't alcoholism. This is me trying to dry my nails.
Trying to dry my nails. So she was estimated to be about 5 feet 2 inches tall.
Although I've seen that as a range from 5'2" to 5'4".
Yeah, but
I'm not sure why.
I'm not totally sure why.
Maybe you shrink if you're left out in the sun?
I don't think you do. I'm going with 5'2".
All right.
Also, because she was only 115 pounds, so, I mean,
be a
pretty
skinny 5'4".
Yeah, frankly, it's a skinny 5'2". That's,
But she's relatively young.
She is, that's true.
Well, at least potentially.
Well, even 20 years old is pretty young.
I was more leaning towards the 15 would make sense why she's 5'2" and only 115.
Mm-hmm.
She had blonde hair, although previously mentioned we don't know about her eye color. The coroner said that she was likely 14 to 18 years old, but a lot of other places I've read that the age range was 15 to 19. So I guess the safest range would be 16 to 17.
Shoot for the middle.
Shoot for the middle. She had all of her original parts.
Original carburetor, rims, all that.
No, she hadn't had any surgeries or anything like that.
Tonsils, adenoids, appendix, all that stuff.
Got it. All of it, yeah.
All both kidneys.
She had never given birth, and she had no scars or marks that they could see. It's possible, I guess, that there's a range in her face where she was beat so bad that they wouldn't have been able to see scars, but...
It wouldn't be discernible, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on post damage, yeah.
Yeah. The most distinct part of her actually was that her front 2 teeth were a slightly different color from the rest of the teeth. That was the only thing that they could provide to say, hey, if you know a blonde girl who has slightly different colored teeth that's missing, we might have found her.
That actually, believe it or not, is not all that uncommon, though.
Yeah.
Oh, the different teeth colors?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
mine are a little different.
Well, I mean, I know folks who have fallen down and hit their head and damaged is it the nerves? Yes, the nerves in their teeth. And so the tooth is slowly dying, and that a lot of times is what causes that discoloration is as the tooth dies. You've seen people with black teeth because the tooth is dead.
Yeah.
So at that point, cosmetic oral surgery was not a thing.
Yeah.
So it was actually pretty common.
Well, I mean, it's not so uncommon that you would just have less white teeth in certain areas of your mouth.
Oh, yeah, there's always a range.
Kind of depends, too, on how big the contrast really was.
Yeah, and I don't know the answer to that question.
But it's been 35 years, and nobody's stepped forward yet, huh?
They have not, yeah. So, Princess had fought back against her attacker. There were visible signs of defense on her hands, but she was very badly beaten.
DNA under her fingernails, maybe?
I don't think so.
This is 82?
82.
DNA really wasn't...
Well, they did preserve a lot of her body parts, though, so that they could test DNA in the future. But I don't think that there was anything under her fingernails or anything like that.
Oh, so she didn't scratch the guy or anything. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm being sexist here. It could have been a woman.
Person.
Yeah.
So, and we kind of hinted at this before, but her body was out there for a couple days at least, maybe more like a week. I did see one place that said she had definitely been out there for a month, but I don't think that's
Well, it was
true.
a warm
She would have
time of
been.
year.
It was a really, really warm, very, very humid time of year.
Yeah, mid-July, New Jersey.
Yeah, so there was some decomposition happening to her for sure. But they did think that it was probably just a couple days that her body was out there. I would suspect that the graveyard was also able to help a little bit in that, if they had groundskeepers, they would have hit that kind of area in a whatever given amount of time.
I got to be honest with you. I'm surprised that they found her as soon as they did, because if you watch the footage that is out there of, the guys trying to climb up that embankment and get out of there, it is super steep. I mean, we're talking like a 75-degree angle. A body rolls down and any kind of material from the area is stuck to it. It would be very easy to not see, because who walks along the perimeter of that ravine looking down the whole time?
A grave digger who needs to urinate, maybe?
That might be how she was found.
Yeah, it probably was.
But I don't think she did roll down the embankment, because the skirt was laying on top of her.
Yeah, well,
like it had been laid there.
Yeah.
But if the body was dumped, let's say 10 or 15 feet down, because they if you watch the footage of those guys crawling out of there with the body bag, she was far enough down that they had to crawl, 3 hands, one hand holding the strap and 2 feet in a hand pulling themselves up. It's,
That's true.
Yeah.
She could have been dropped right on the edge and it just slid down like it was a, earthen water slide.
That's true. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
But anyway, I doubt that she had been there a month.
No, that's excessive.
No, I think
the critters would have gotten to her more. Yeah,
absolutely. Her body would have decomposed.
Yeah, I doubt she was
way
even
more.
there for a week, really.
The detective assigned to the case was actually the one to name her Princess Doe. I haven't seen anywhere why he called her that.
My understanding is that he picked that name because he wanted to give her something other than Jane Doe.
Yeah.
Because, he for some reason felt really bad about this young girl being dead.
Yeah, and I seem to remember him in an interview I watched saying, well, she had to have been somebody's princess. Mm-hmm. Somebody's little girl at one point who was a princess, and so somehow that's stuck in his head.
Okay. That's
like
fair.
This guy really...
I saw that stuff too, but I guess I just didn't think about it.
No, and I'm amazed. This guy, really, really just is hung on to this case.
Yeah.
It's amazing the lengths that he's gone.
His name is Lieutenant Eric Krantz.
Mm-hmm.
He's now retired. This case really touched the small community in New Jersey. They gave her a proper burial, and a local who was just 4 at the time, his name is Travis Riggs. He even started a website called princessdoe.org. I think the website is now defunct, because I did try to reach out to Travis via the website and got one of those, mailer Damon.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't been doing anything for the last 3 or 4 years, because I went to his Twitter account and it's dead as well.
Not like there's any movement here. And
there's no movement.
Probably never will be.
But I just thought it was incredible that somebody who was 4 at the time was so struck by this case that he would devote any amount of time, spending.
I got the feeling that this is probably one of those things. It's kind of like the, I can't remember the case we were talking about the other day, where it's just everybody in town is always speculating about it.
Oh, yeah.
It just becomes
our Indiana case.
Yeah.
Roberts, Clarence Roberts.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. Since this was in the 80s, as we also kind of mentioned before, DNA testing particularly, but just testing in general was not where it is today, and probably will not be where you future people are listening to us in, 2030.
You're laughing at us for our crude techniques.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You watching us on holophoners or whatever.
Laughing as we talked into microphones.
Yeah.
Nobody uses those.
But luckily, the investigators did have the foresight to preserve samples of
and not
Princess
lose
Doe,
them,
and not lose them,
yeah,
and not
how's that?
And preserve them in a way that they were actually preserved and they didn't degrade.
They were usable.
They were totally usable.
Yeah, good job,
this is
guys.
the makings of a Forensic Files episode. I swear to God. If it had been solved, it would definitely have been featured on there. Forensic scientists in 2012 were able to assess samples of both her hair and her teeth, and it allowed investigators to get a better picture of where Princess was from.
Somewhere in North or South America.
Yeah, somewhere where blonde people are from.
Yeah.
The sample of her hair was it was pretty easy to analyze. And I have to be honest, I pulled this like pretty much verbatim off of the internet because these people are smarter than me, and I can't rewrite this. So the hair indicated that she had lived at least 7 to 10 months in a Midwestern or Northeastern state of the United States.
Somewhat recently, I presume, since they got it from her hair.
Yeah, it was within the last 8 months, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, probably because hair grows long, but it falls out pretty frequently. So, and the sample of her tooth indicated that she might be from Arizona, but it also was believed that she had spent a long period of time in Long Island, New York.
And they figured all that out because of the trace minerals and things like that were in it based on what you would find in the water. Water in Arizona is much different than water in New Jersey when you take it at a base mineral count.
Totally. And the makeup of it is different.
Right. And because your body absorbs that, it's then, you can test for that.
Right, exactly.
Cool. And this is the simplest version of how that worked.
Yeah. So this was obviously really big news, and to the point where they even set up a mannequin with Princess Do's clothes on it.
That was a little weird.
It was pretty weird. And the facial reconstructions of her are
they're all over the
really
map.
subpar.
Yeah.
And kind of weird. I mean, they're not. I mean, we've seen some very interesting reconstructions in our lives, but they're passable. But they're all kind of. They don't look like real humans really at all.
It makes you wonder if they were having trouble really piecing together the fragments of her skull.
Yeah.
Well, and not all of it was done right away. Krantz kept trying to keep the case alive, and so he would try and generate more interest in it, and so he would get the department to pay for a guy to come in and do a reconstructed drawing of her. But that's
and they've been updated ones, and based on new technology and all of that stuff. The reconstructions they would have been tough. I mean, she was very badly beaten, but they did this thing where they put her clothes on a mannequin, and actually that did generate some leads. A woman who saw the images of the mannequin set up with this girl's clothes in a newspaper article said that she remembered seeing a girl wearing the same clothing as Princess Do on July 13th, 1982. Which would have been 2 days before.
But that was 2 days before she was discovered. But
she came forward months later.
I thought it was years later. Was it months?
It was years later.
Yeah, and it was just, I find that hard to believe, kind of.
Well, I mean...
Not only did she remember that far back the exact outfit, but also the exact date. That's kind of,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I agree, but also it is interesting.
Yeah, well, maybe she's got a photographic memory. I don't know.
Maybe. The woman said, so the reason that she said that she remembered seeing this girl, I presume, when I was little, I would go shopping with Norm as a special thing. It wasn't like we go shopping for clothes all the time. And so it's possible that
You're not a Kardashian?
No. So it's possible that this was a special occasion, which is why the date stuck, and that that outfit is a pretty unique outfit. And if she was like, oh, I saw someone wearing something that looked a lot like that on this special day that we had, and we talked about how weird this woman was, or this girl was dressed, and what was she doing?
I didn't think her clothes were all that weird, actually.
Well, that's
it could be just a conversation. What she's saying, Joe, is it could be they had a conversation about the outfit, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
I have conversations about outfits all the time because I'm judgy as heck.
Wait till you walk out of the room, Joe. Yeah. She says some horrible things about your clothes.
Oh, I'm sure. We really should go to the mall sometime.
Yeah, I don't go to the mall.
I want to do some people watching with you.
I don't go to the mall.
So actually, they were able also to trace the shirt and the skirt to a manufacturer in the Midwestern United States of America, but the brand labels were missing, which...
She was a spy.
Well, yeah. I was just going to say, which isn't all that suspicious because I sometimes cut labels out of my clothing because
they're scratchy?
So scratchy. Especially when you buy cheap clothes, they're super scratchy, and I suspect that if this girl has never been identified, she probably wasn't from a family of means that was providing for her, so she was probably buying cheap clothes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. 3 or 4 people actually reported that they had purchased similar clothing at a Long Island store, which is now closed, obviously. But it's not clear if that was a chain store or if it was just like a one-off boutique or something like that. So,
this is something I didn't see, and I'm just going to ask you because I'm dumb like that. The clothes, were they considered to actually be relatively new when her body was discovered? They weren't something that, say, could be a 5-year-old dress and shirt
or like
that were
Goodwill
lightly worn or something? Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I suspect they were considered to be relatively new given the number of people who were able to say that they purchased clothes similar to that within a fairly short time period.
Okay, I know fashion is very fickle and things come and go quite quickly, and so that's the only
what
reason I
makes
asked.
me think that it probably was fairly recent.
Well, I've seen pictures online of the clothes too. Were they the same clothes that she was wearing?
The red shirt and
Those were.
They don't look too frayed.
No, I think they were, and there's little things like there's a tiny, like along the collar and the hem.
Piping, you mean?
There's a little bit of, well, it's not. You could call it piping.
She's about to geek out.
I'm enough of a clothes nerd to tell you it's not actually piping, but there's some very thin velveteen ribbon that they use as trim along the neck and the waist and or the hem, of the shirt, and that's the sort of stuff that goes kind of south pretty quick. It shows wear really quickly. And they looked like they were in fine condition, not great, but fine condition. So I suspect they were fairly new.
Cool.
So we're almost to theories. But before we start talking about theories, we do need to talk about MTV's fear.
I have a lot of fear of MTV.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
This is
Tell me about it.
This is from Wikipedia. So I'm admitting that I did almost no research on fear.
You didn't. You're not missing anything. I watched this show.
Yeah.
You watched it?
Oh, like once or twice, and it was so dumb.
Yeah.
That's where they leave people like alone in a haunted house or something like that,
So,
or a group of people.
Fear, promoted as MTV's Fear, is an American paranormal. I'm literally reading Wikipedia right now, guys. I'm admitting it. Is an American paranormal reality television series that originally aired from 2000 to 2002 on MTV. The program follows a group of 5 or more contestants being left at an allegedly haunted location and led them on a series of dares over 2 nights to explore and confirm whether or not the place was haunted.
This was a cheap knockoff of Survivor is what this was. This is when reality TV suddenly started becoming bigger than it had ever been. I mean, because there was like Survivor, it was kind of small, and then also it was like everybody's doing it, and they all made the crappiest shows.
So did anybody get killed at least?
No.
Damn it.
No. There were a lot of mannequins were thrown at people, but that's about it.
Yeah. So
probably to stick your hand in a bucket of spiders, maybe.
There was an episode in the first season that featured a totally 100% fictionalized version of Princess Do's story, which has added to a lot of confusion around the case. In MTV's Fear, Princess was portrayed as a victim of a cult sacrifice.
Wasn't her head supposedly cut off?
She was decapitated
and
stuff. Yeah, totally. There is literally no reason to literally no reason to think that this is true in Princess's case. She was not decapitated. She had her hands. She was not a cult sacrifice.
Well, it could have been a cult sacrifice. Not likely.
No.
No evidence to indicate it.
Yeah. So stop it. Just stop.
No.
Stop.
No.
Stop.
Okay, I'm fine.
So, with all of that having been said, we're going to get into theories.
Ooh.
But first, we're going to take a quick break.
Can you imagine working under backbreaking conditions day after day after day and having to eat the same thing night after night after night? Hardtack and thin soups would be your culinary reward for hauling sail in the blazing sun and the pounding rain. And only occasionally, while at anchor, would you and Queequeg be able to find a place like the tiny pots that served a meal to die for. The great thing is, you don't have to travel to eat like that. You can do it from the comfort of your own home with HelloFresh. HelloFresh is the meal delivery service that makes cooking more fun for you so you can stay focused on the whole experience, not just the plate. And each week, HelloFresh creates new delicious recipes with step-by-step instructions designed to take about 30 minutes for anyone from novices to seasoned home cooks short on time. HelloFresh is now offering light summer meals and just introduced breakfast options. We've had HelloFresh, they sent it to us, and I loved it. Good food all around. If you'd like to try HelloFresh, they've extended to our listeners a special offer. If you go to their website and use the promo code Sideways30, that's Sideways30, and you'll get $30 off your first week of deliveries. So go to HelloFresh.com and enter Sideways30 when you subscribe. And remember, HelloFresh has delicious ingredients you'll love to eat and simple recipes you'll love to cook.
And we're back. So theories.
Yeah.
In true Devon fashion, we have two big headings.
And then subheadings.
And then subheadings.
Whoa.
Two big, we need to talk about who Princess Doe might have been. And we also need to talk about who might have done this to Princess Doe.
Good questions, all.
So let's talk about who Princess Doe might have been first.
All right.
There are a couple interesting theories out there, I guess. There's really only two names that have ever kind of stuck.
And then a lot of sort of random big speculation.
Yeah,
on top
but
of that.
the biggest one is Diane Janice Dye. For many years, actually, Princess Doe was thought to have been Diane. She was a missing teenager from San Jose, California.
And she never did turn up, did she?
She never did. No,
Yeah.
she disappeared on July 30th in 79. This theory was kind of propagated by several law enforcement.
I believe the word you're looking for is pushed.
Yeah, where did they get the idea from, though?
I don't really know.
You know, this. I guess it's because it's such an old case. There's a bunch of different ideas that people put forward in it, but it's time or whatever. The reasons they think these things have sort of gone away. You can't find them.
I think, the other thing is people, if you find something that kind of fits, you can close two cases, and
Sure.
sometimes it's just better to, willfully be ignorant about the whole situation.
Well, and in a way, for the family, it's a method to, though incorrect, give the family closure.
Yeah, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think that really does anybody any favors, but I don't know. But there were actually some law enforcement officials in New Jersey who actually even had a press conference that they officially identified Princess Doe. Yeah, as Diane Dye. Lieutenant Krantz, you remember? He's the
Lieutenant
lead.
Eric Krantz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He maintained that Diane Dye was not a good candidate for Princess Doe as an identity.
Why is that?
He just didn't think they fit, which is fair.
Yeah.
They didn't really look too much alike, and he just overall just didn't agree. And he just didn't really agree with that assessment. So he actually convinced Diane's family and the investigators in California who were searching for Diane to give some samples of DNA to be compared. So in 2003, Princess Doe's DNA was compared with the DNA sample from Diane's mother, Patricia.
So familial DNA.
So maternal DNA, which will conclusively say, yes, this DNA came from, is the child of this person or not.
Mm-hmm.
And Patricia was 100% ruled out as the mother of Princess Doe.
Oh, there you go.
So, not Diane Dye.
I don't know. Too bad for the family. I guess it would have been kind of nice in a way to,
It would have, but also, I guess I'm always one to think like that just brings hope that maybe Diane is still alive out there somewhere.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Likely.
She'd be, in her 40s.
Changed her name to Lori Erica Ruff.
Yeah.
And she's doing well.
Yeah, doing great. Yeah, really great. So not that, but that's one of the biggest theories you'll see. And actually, there are still people on the internet who say, oh yeah, no,